We are ready to go. Hi, and welcome to our workshop series, Expanding Consciousness, Reclaiming the Sacred as the Foundation of Your Life. Among the most important things in this time of change is your ability to get into your heart, to feed your soul, and to touch the sacred within yourself, and make it the foundation around which you shape your life. More than anything, how well each of us is able to do these things will determine what world we will create and leave behind. What all that looks like and what the most important things are for us to do and focus on to be able to do just that is what Kay will teach you during each session in this series. Hi, I'm Helmut Whitaker, and I am here with my wife and partner in the adventure of life, Kay Cordell Whitaker. Hi, Kay.
I am.
Kay is the author of The Reluctant Shaman and Sacred Link, and in the Peruvian medicine tradition of Hetaka that she apprenticed in for many years with our shaman elders Domano and Chea Hetaka. Kay is a Kalakanasi, a healer, a seer, a thrower of the bones, and a weaver of webs of balance. In this first session in the series, she will teach you about song, about knowing self, the foundation for any learning about and expanding of your consciousness. The foundation to be able to learn to live from your heart, to feed your soul, and to touch the sacred within yourself. Before Kay gets started, a reminder to let you know that we will take time for questions and answers at the end of the session. You can put your questions in the chat as we go, or jot them down on a pad and then put them in the chat when we get to the Q&A time. So that's it. Here's Kay with the first session of Expanding Consciousness called What is Song?
What is song? We hear that a lot. We get that question a lot. Song.
Okay, is your...
This is
unmuted?
This is unmuted.
Okay, sorry about this. I had a message that somebody cannot hear Kay. Can you let us know? Can you hear Kay okay? Please?
Can you hear me now?
Let us know in the chat, please. Okay, we're good to go.
We are good?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, if you have choppy connection, that is most likely on your end with the internet, with your internet speed. I hope that can be resolved when you click the reconnect button, and if not, I'm really sorry, but there will be a recording of this. So go ahead, Kay.
All right. Song is the word that our teachers, two Peruvian shamans, Domano and Chea, and the people, poetically used to describe our totality, the who and what we are, what we actually are. The poetry in this word is chosen by the indigenous people because it speaks more to than just the two-dimensional definition of words that they can provide. It stirs up feelings and experience of what the wholeness of being human can mean. It evokes harmonious, pleasing sounds and pictures and heartfelt music and harmonies, living colors, a taste of the aliveness that permeates all existence. It tells of the incredible ancientness and vastness of our own beingness and the extraordinary beauty and knowledge and gifts that each beingness contains. We're not an irrelevant bag of bones that's going to blow away one day like the dust over the desert. We're each a piece of creator. And creator, or creation, is pure consciousness, pure aliveness. We're a piece of that, unique and individual, but very connected. We've been in existence for countless eons. We are so much more than what we're led to believe that we are. We've lived so many different existences, and we carry all of that knowledge, all of those answers inside us. When we start to experience and understand who and what we really are and what that means, it changes everything. It changes our perspective, our understanding about where we are in our human lives. It allows you to see and feel what is unnecessary in your life right now. We've all been culturally programmed and trained all our lives to believe and think and experience in very specific ways, ways that box us in, that diminish who we actually are, that diminish our awareness and our ability to focus and think, to solve problems, to see what is important and not important, and to see what's real and not real. We're blinded. We've been lied to and tricked. And we've lied to ourselves, and we've all been participating in the lies. But when we experience the reality of our own song, our perspective changes. And there's peace. We find peace. We find clarity. Our priorities shift. And we're able to see and feel what we're actually doing to the world around us, the environment, the people, our families, and to ourselves, our mind, our body, our spirit, everything. And then we understand the effects that we have on what is around us, and know that we can create different effects, beneficial effects, healing effects, loving effects. The more we experience our own song and come to know it, the more we realize that we have disconnected ourselves from our own song, and that we've disconnected ourselves from our loved ones and humanity, and from all life, from plants, the animals, the soil, the waters, the winds, and from Mother Earth herself. Everything in the universe is alive and conscious and thinking and feeling and taking action, everything radiates out all this information, all those energies, and all that love. And it radiates out what it means to experience being alive. And we're radiating out the same kind of things from ourselves. And everything out there in the universe, everything around us, to the end of the universe, is receiving these signals that are coming from us. And we're receiving the signals coming from everything else, constantly. Song to song, heart to heart. We are connected. So beautifully connected. A symphony of swelling and ebbing voices, like an ocean of aliveness that reaches to the end of existence. We are in a living field. Living field. Field of intelligence, a field of awareness within which everything is connected. We're deeply and intimately connected to everyone and everything. When we're feeling our song, when we're aware of our song, and we're identifying with our song, allowing ourselves to be our totality, that's when we're aware of its connectedness. We're feeling it. A little at first, and then all the time, and consciously participating in this conversation and interaction. We get to feel that in every minute. This aliveness and this connectedness. We're contributing to the diversity with our uniqueness and our individuality. We're breathing in the companionship and acceptance from everything around us. We allow ourselves to be part of the dance of life, as my teachers would say. When we humans allow ourselves to be caught and stifled in the cultural programming, we lose our identity. We lose our song. We lose that knowingness of who and what we are. We lose our identity. And this literally shrinks our consciousness. This is what the elders say is the most painful and horrific thing that can happen to us. So in that pain of it all, we firmly believe that we are not connected to anything, that we are alone and isolated. And then when death comes, we think, that's it. There's nothing left for us. Nothing left of us, any of us. And our culture keeps reinforcing those thoughts. They reinforce thoughts like we're irrelevant, that we're insignificant, that what we do is worthless, and who we are is meaningless. And there's nothing beyond this measly bag of bones blowing in the wind. And so we live in fear and think and feel and act accordingly. in fear. When in truth, our every thought counts. And it has great effect on all those around us and out through the universe. We do affect ourselves, we do affect everything else. That means we count. We count. If we're caught in this cultural programming, this is what our teachers, Hetaka's, called being asleep. Living in a tiny box separated from everyone, separated from everything else, damaging our own selves and our own bodies with those destructive thoughts and feelings and beliefs. And we're sharing the damage with all those around us, even with all of humanity. This allows us to think that it's okay to judge and hate and ridicule and demean and destroy anything. We've become desensitized. When we're so disconnected, we're even disconnected from ourselves, from our own consciousness. We can't feel or see or perceive in any way the damage we're actually causing to ourselves and anything else. Most of us agree that our world is in pretty poor shape. We have wars and hatred and bigotry and poisoned lands and fake food, increasing illness. And that's because of what we, all together in our modern culture, are thinking and believing. The elders from all over have said for millennia, what we think and believe and do on the inside, we create on the outside. So in order to change anything, our personal health, our personal happiness, our love and family relationships, friendships, economic state, in order to raise our consciousness back up, we have to change what's going on inside us and step out of the programming, step out of the box, and wake up. Stepping out of the lie is not something that you can do with just thinking about it alone. It must be experienced for the magic to work and for the understanding behind the magic to be gained. When we can step out of the programming and leave it behind, what is left is the magnificent truth of our song, the truth of who we really are and what we really are and what everything else is and how we are so intimately connected to it all. We are part of it. We have been belonging to it all along. Unique and individual, but very connected, sweetly connected. The elders say that the universe, creator, loves diversity. So learning how to find out who you are is the most important thing that you can do in this life. The most important thing you can do for yourself, for your family, for your community, for the whole world. Find out who you are and what you are. Know your song, learn your song. And it's simple. It doesn't have to take a long time. It doesn't have to be difficult, but it's something you do have to choose. People have often asked us, what's the effect of knowing your song, living your song? The effect goes far past your wildest dreams. It is living in peace and joy, harmony with yourself, and with everything else, everybody else. It's not being trapped in the confines of the cultural programming. It means stepping out of those limitations and the restrictions that we've been taught. Your song is created out of pure, unconditional love. Pure, absolute, unconditional love. Knowing your song and living it means living in this field of love. Love for yourself, love for everyone else, and for everything else around you, and everything throughout the universe. This is what taking back your power really is. This is what raising your consciousness looks like and feels like. It means unstifled creativity, boundless knowledge at your fingertips, the ability and the desire to create a world worth living in and worth giving to your children and grandchildren and their children and on and on. It means living without hate and judgment for yourself or others. It means being able to see astounding beauty in everything. It means living in equality and honesty and respect. This is what our elders say we're headed towards as a species. And this is what we're giving up, giving away, throwing away when we stay living inside the lies and the programming. The new world, the new era that everybody talks about, this song living is what it is built out of. Song living. Living in the middle of that love. Living in the truth, the knowing of who you are, what you are, where you came from, how you're connected, what's being communicated and given and shared between you and everything else. Everything else in our whole universe. Big universe. Knowing this is how we create that world. With the clarity and the love and the connectedness of song. Song is where it begins. Thank you.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Very beautiful. Started crying there in the background. Oops, I was muted. Nice, Kate. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your love and wisdom. Okay, time for questions. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. And we take some time to work with that. And you're welcome. Getting a lot of thank yous. Do you have any questions? I guess no questions for today. Yeah. Okay, here's a question. What types of cultural programming is the most difficult ones to overcome?
That's going to be an individual issue from person to person. Because what you have imprinted in you is going to be unique. And what you have imprinted the strongest may not be the exact same thing as the next person. What I have found through the years is there'll be some things that are really fast, simple, easy to recognize that they are not true at all. They're lies, they're programming, they're things that are defeating you and your purpose. And just by recognizing that they're lies, you can stop believing them. It just unplugs everything. And you're going to let it go. Off it goes. It never bothers you again. There are other things, the programming goes a little deeper, and you need to work on it a little bit harder. But consistency and being persistent, that's what makes the difference. How committed are you to stepping out of the box of lies and finding truth? The real truth. Truth of what everything is around you, the truth of what you are, who you are, how you're related to everything, how you're connected, and what does that mean? And what does it look like? What does it feel like to be connected? Connected to the tree, connected to your lover, connected to the neighbor, connected to the star out there that's so bright. What is that? What does it feel like? And what's being communicated and shared in that connection? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Total sharing. And that extends to the entire universe. All those billions of galaxies that reach out beyond our vision. We're connected, we're sharing. And we're sharing to everything that's right there in your proximity, right there in your house, in your yard, in your neighborhood. Connected. The elders say that we're made out of love. We're made out of unconditional love, everything. And our connectedness creates this field, a field of love, a field of awareness and intelligence. And we're part of that We're not an outsider looking in at it. We're part of it. We're connected to it. We're swimming in it. We're plugged in. And there's so much sharing going on. And so much love and acceptance. Unconditional acceptance is part of what unconditional love is. Unconditional acceptance. The more we pursue this, the more we learn about who and what we are, what our song is. It sets us free. It raises our consciousness. We become more and more aware for ourselves. We experience these things more and more as we live. Hope that helps.
Thank you, Julia. Next question is from Dion. I hope I pronounced this correctly. How to tap into your song and reach our authentic self?
How do we do that? That's a good question. We have a ceremony, a totality tradition. We have a ceremony of finding your song. And this is something that we're going to talk about a little bit as we close up. We have it as a gift for everybody here that wants to download that. The ceremony is simple, and it's easy, and it's short, and it's the most important thing in the whole education of the Hetaka's tribe, the tradition. Everything begins with song, knowing your song, and finding out your song. And in their tribe, they talk about song from the time you're born. And they encourage you to know what that is, know who you are, follow who you are. Not try to be something else. Not try to impress other people and act in a way that is not you. Think in a way that is not you. In our culture, it's just the opposite. We're taught from the time we're born to shut everything that has to do with song and our consciousness off. Shut it off, hide it, throw it away. And we do. It's the most painful thing that we ever do in our whole lives. It's disregarding our whole beingness, the who and what we are. Just disregarding it, throwing it away. Casting it aside as an open mind. And doing everything that we can to follow the culture's guidelines and our social guidelines for those who are close to us, around us, family, to behave in the proper way, to be this kind of person, that kind of person, and have these kinds of abilities, do these kinds of actions, feel this way, feel that way. We're programmed. We're a lot of lies and a lot of shoulds. And when we do the ceremony of finding the song, we learn how to separate those out, to identify what all that is. The Hetaka's called that stuff, all that programming, masks. These are our masks that we acquired. They are not really part of us, but we wear them like a mask. We put them on, and we've made some real good psychic super glue that holds them in place really well. When we learn how to identify that, and we learn how to identify what is our song, what's the feeling of it. The ceremony teaches you how to take your attention to the feeling of your own song and stay there and learn and feel and experience who and what you are. The more you do that, the more you learn. And the easier it is to remember back, to reacquire your true identity, to really and truly identify with your song. and not all those masks. So hang on a bit, and we'll put that information out there. And we do the song ceremony over and over and over and over. And there is no too much of the song ceremony. I know a lot of students that put it on a recording and they play it while they're going to sleep. So they hear that recording over and over while they fall asleep and while they are asleep. And in the Hetaka's tribe, every event, every ceremony, every other kind of practice that they did starts with a song ceremony. We're always learning something new, something more about our own selves, who and what we are, and where we've been in this universe through all these eons. What did we learn? What kind of gifts did we collect? And what can we bring into this lifetime? We're always experiencing something new and more about our own song. So I hope that helps, and I hope you enjoy the song ceremony.
Yeah, and we'll share the link to download that as we close out, before we close out. Next question from Rebecca. Hi, you mentioned that our connectedness is a living field. Can you talk a little about that? That subject is the theme for the third session, I believe.
Yes, but we can talk a little bit about it.
But let me
Speak a little something.
No, it's a little something. Yeah, it's the session on Sunday. The third session is called Using Your Attention to Move into Your Heart and the Field of Awareness. But go ahead, my love.
We create within ourselves, in our consciousness, a field of awareness. We are awareness. We are consciousness. And so it creates a field. This is what our auric field is. So it's saturating throughout our entire physical body, the energy levels outside our body, the auric area. And everybody's doing this. Everything's doing it. The tree and the rock and the wind and everything. Everybody. Everything's alive and conscious. And everything has a field of consciousness that is themselves. And when we are connected, all these fields connect together. They blend into one very large field. And it is quite a wondrous thing to experience. It is beautiful. It is such a two-dimensional and flat word to try to explain what it is and what it's like. There's so much beauty and harmony there. And it's alive and it's moving, and there's consciousness and thought and feeling, emotions, love, total awareness, total sharing back and forth, everything one to another throughout the field. Very busy. And worth pursuing the experience of it. From the Katasi point of view, we need to experience our song first. We need to know how to do that and what it feels like. Our song, each of our songs have their own feeling sensation, their own signature. Everything has its own signature. Every little bug, every atom, the sky, every star, everything has its own signature, which is a feeling sensation that identifies it. So that when we run into something else, we can identify it by its signature, the feeling of it. This is a psychic thing, it's a telepathic thing. And we are a telepathic species. We've let it atrophy quite a bit, but this is the time, this is the era that's moving into the new world. This is the time it's coming back. And we have this ability to increase, to raise our consciousness up back where it should be and retrieve these senses, these abilities to be able to sense the difference between you, your own song with its own signature, and the song of your mate, your children, your parents, your pet or pets, your neighbor, your boss, the things that are around you, the mountain out there. Everything has its own signature. And we can learn to sense it and feel it. And we can use that. It's a very pleasant thing, but it also becomes very valuable when we do things like learning how to do the psychic healing from Katasi and the Egyptian traditions. This is energetic psychic healing, psychic surgery healing. And it relies quite a bit on learning to be able to sense the song of something else, like the person that you want to work on with your healing. Sense what kind of disorder is in there in that body. Is it a bunch of poison? Do they have a virus? Did they break a bone? All those things have their own signature. It's a feeling, their own signature. And we can learn them. Kind of like learning a new language. And we can utilize it that way. It becomes something that we can help ourselves with, we can help our family with, we can help others in the world, we can help the whole planet. I hope that's a good taster. Hope that helped.
There's more coming, not just on Sunday, pretty much throughout the series, but specifically on Sunday. There's another question about how do you find your song, and how can we all find the awareness for our song? That's kind of the same answer that you gave to Dion.
The song ceremony, and I recommend for everybody, download it, listen to it, do the ceremony, do it, and do it again, and do it again and again and again. And practice it over and over, and it's not long. It's not going to take you a whole lot of time, and you can learn. Once you get it down the first time or two, after that, you can do it in the shower. You can do it when you lay down to go to bed. You can, do it while you're taking a walk. All kinds of things.
Great messages, blessings of enough, and thank you. Love and peace.
Thank you.
To you all too. The two of you are beautiful. Oh, thank you. Here's another question. What can we do to remember our song when we forget it?
Well, it's like any new habit. Our masks, living in all those lies, those are habits. We've learned to make them habits by repeating them inside ourselves, and over and over and over and over again. We have to start paying attention to how we do that and purposefully stop. To stop going into the babble that come with the masks and the feelings that come with the masks. Just to stop it. Turn your attention back to your song. we can choose to turn our attention to anything that we want at any time. That is one of the powers that we have. Power of choice, power of being able to turn your attention. And we can aim it straight back into our song and all the adventures that we've been having with our song and all these beautiful spiritual things that go with it. And turn away from all the nasty things. Your habit. The more we do that, the easier it gets. But also, your perspective changes completely. And you realize that all of that nasty stuff is really lies. They're wrong. They're not true. They're damaging. They're destructive. They keep us down. They diminish our senses, our awareness, our thinking, our emotions, our whole consciousness. They just diminish it and squish it to nothing. And we can take our power back by learning how to direct our own attention, choosing on purpose where to aim our attention. Aim it back into something positive, something loving, something that has to do with song and knowing yourself. And the songs are everything else. Once you start learning about your own song, you can't help but to notice that everything else has a song and is quite beautiful. So it becomes an extraordinary adventure.
Great questions. Here's another one. How to lose the fixed position of being in the me mode.
The fixed position of being in the me mode?
Yeah.
As we learn to turn our attention to our own song and experience it, and learn about what it actually is, who we actually are, and how ancient and how vast that actually is. Things just change inside of us. Our perspective, our understanding of the world changes. Our understanding of our place in the world changes. And the constant me doesn't make any sense anymore. It's us, 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 us. You and everything else you're connected to. It is this new group that we have found, this new group that we are part of, we've actually been part of for as long as there have been humans on this planet, and we've been part of those humans. We just didn't notice it before. But now we have the chance to notice we're part of humanity. We are part of these different groups of humanity. We're part of the life that is on this planet. You are part of a community of life that makes up the area around where you live, where your house is, your yard, the neighborhood. And that would include all the trees, all the plants, and the dirt and the rocks, and whatever water is there, and all the bugs and birds, and any other animals that are there, and all the people. That is a community. And we are deeply and intimately connected to everything there. We begin to discover this when we discover our own song. And that perspective just changes. It has to change because you're seeing the truth of things. You're seeing real reality. And all this fake stuff, all the lies that we've been living in and pretending about and trying to be part of. That's all nothing. It's nothing. It's masks. It's somebody's words and ideas that they've been they threw around hundreds, thousands of years ago and then continue to be thrown around, and people buy into it and try to live it, try to live that lie, the many lies. It's real painful to try to live those lies and all the masks. And the me is a real selfish kind of a state of mind perspective. And it usually turns out to be me at the expense of all of you. Me at the expense of other. That's the old world. That is the masculine imbalance world that we are moving away from, the broken world. That perspective, that system doesn't work. And we see all around us that it doesn't, and why it doesn't, and how awful the results are, the effects are of that system. As you start to know your song, Hetaka would say that means you're starting to wake up. Everything changes. You start to see the real truth of everything, the truth of reality around you. And you start to see the masked things in other people and society. They're asleep. And from one perspective, they don't know they have something different. It's a possibility. So they're stuck there. In a way, they don't know any different. So in Katasi, everything comes with unconditional love and unconditional acceptance. Unconditional acceptance of everything exactly the way it is. It doesn't mean you're condoning something bad. It means you're accepting reality as it is. And if you don't like what you see, if you look outside and there's a river out there that is polluted and garbage floats down the river right in front of your face every day, you can't help but to really, really see it and realize it doesn't have to be that way. That is really a horrible, horrible thing that has happened to our world. Perspective. And it changes the song.
I have a thought to that.
Okay?
As long as we don't know who we are, we always looking for approval. And once we find our song and we know our song, we can't help but just absolutely love what we see and know. And we stop worrying. We stop worrying about are we enough? Are we good enough? And we just, that me mode pretty much disappears. And here's another question. We're just going to keep going with the question. If you have questions, if you have to run, you can catch everything in the recording. What do you mean by finding your song? I think we have spoken to that.
I'll just say a little tiny bit.
Okay.
Words, trying to describe all these non-linear things in linear words is really difficult. It always falls short. It always falls a little bit short. Sometimes a lot short. Words are flat, they're two-dimensional. And with real clever combining of words, sometimes we can stir something up in somebody, a feeling, evoke this something deeper, some experience. But the words make it really challenging to try to get these concepts across. These concepts are multidimensional. They're not just three-dimensional, they're multidimensional. They stretch out throughout what we call the non-linear. And that's everything that's spiritual. Everything that is psychic and spiritual and deeply felt. All those things. So to find your song, we have essentially lost our song in our culture. Everybody's lost their song. They don't know what it is. They don't know who they are. They're asleep. And they forgot that they threw their song away when they were little as a kid. We were trained to do that. We're trained to throw it away, discard it, demean it, forget we ever felt it, we ever knew what it was, never talk about it again, never show it to anybody if you ever discover it. So that's a horrific thing. That is a cosmic spiritual rape. To have that happen to you, to have be taught to do. We're doing it to ourselves. So we're taught to do that. We have to do that. We should do that to be part of our culture and to grow up and to be successful and accepted and all those things. We're taught we have to throw it away. So this is the quest. This is the spiritual quest, the spiritual journey. The big hero's adventure is to find the truth of yourself. Find yourself, find your song. Find it, experience it. It's one thing to hear about it, to hear me describe it as best as I can, and help me as best as I can. But the only way to really get it is to experience your own song for yourself. That's the hero's journey. That's the big spiritual quest. The quest of all quests. Know thyself. And the who and the what we are is so big. It is so big, it's so vast, it's so ancient, it's so mind-boggling and multidimensional. And the memories and the history and everything that's there is just mind-boggling. And to really understand it, it needs to be experienced. You have to go way past the words. And that's what this ceremony to find your song is all about, to teach you how to do that. It's all about focusing your attention, collecting it, focusing that attention, holding it on specific things that you choose. And that's how you start training your mind, your attention.
Yeah, great question, Victor. And everybody, thanks for your questions and comments. Annika says, thank you very much for sharing your beautiful gifts. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Robert Bloom. I've always had other songs in my head, mostly ones with a spiritual message. Haven't found my own song yet that I have recognized as such. And Lorene, can you give an example of when your song work allowed you to know your higher consciousness?
Wow. I was I was just starting to study with the Hetakas in Santa Cruz. And they live close to the beach. We go down on the beach a lot. And they do a lot of their teaching there, or up into the redwood forest. They do a lot of teaching there. And there's one day I was not close to the water, but in the sand, and there's some of these plants that grow up out of the sand as you get farther away from where the tide comes up on the sand all regularly. And so we were sitting in there in a little pocket, and I was digging around in the sand. That was the assignment, was to sit there and touch and feel, play, and talk with the sand, and try to remember, feel my song, remember. And all of a sudden I remembered being still in diapers, sitting in the mud right outside the back door of the house. There was a blackberry bush there, but a big patch of dirt, and they watered or rained recently, so it was muddy. I loved it when it was like that. And of course, they never really wanted me to sit in the mud, and I loved it. And it would immediately, it would just start, like going all over, and I would just put it all over me, and I'd talk to it and sing to it. And I remembered seeing, perceiving, and feeling and hearing this music in the dirt, in the mud, the music coming out of the dirt and with water and all these colors and all this light and the colors of the light and the movement everywhere, all the way through this mud. And the smell of it, it was just very fresh and earthy and real healthy smelling, like good soil to grow things in. And the sound, the music of it, all these voices that were not like all human voices, but just all these sounds. And everything was alive. Every little particle of the mud was alive and glowing and singing and sharing its aliveness and its passion for living and its information about what was happening today and with everything else. And it was so exquisite and so beautiful to me. I just adored it. I wanted to be there all the time. And of course, everybody else, my siblings were older than me, and my parents, of course, didn't really want me in there covering myself with mud because it would mean a lot of work for them. You have to clean me all up and change me and the clothes and everything all over again. And so they'd be trying to talk me out of being there and to get back, back on the steps or back on the porch. Don't play in the mud. And I couldn't understand why they didn't like the mud. This was so outrageously beautiful. And it felt, the feeling all the way through my body, all the way through my whole spirit was just so delicious and healing and nurturing. They were friends. They were my best friends. I just couldn't grok what was wrong with them. And I remembered that, and the memory was so clear, so vivid. And then I realized I was in the sand, and I was, going through the sand in the same way, and I could see it. All of a sudden, I could see it with my inner eyes. I could hear it with my inner ears. I could feel it. I could feel the aliveness and the passion and all that beauty and all that, the lights and the colors and sharing of all this love, sharing of information and energy and nutrient. And it was, I had it back. I had it back again. And I, of course, like all the rest of us, had lost it. I had thrown it away with myself. But I got it back. It took a lot of work and a few years to be able to bring that experience back at will. A lot of these things, as we study and we're retrieving ourselves and our knowledge and our spirit abilities and our consciousness, we'll have surprise experiences, peak, maybe memory of these kind of experiences. But the trick is to be able to bring it back at will, to turn your attention just easily, smoothly, and look into the sand, and look into the dirt, and there it all is. And that's what this journey is all about. That's what the journey of consciousness, raising your consciousness back out of the pit, out of the prison. That's what it's about. We all have these abilities, these inner senses. We all have it. It's a natural part of us. We all are telepathic. It's a natural part of us. But we have squelched it. We've let it atrophy. We've belittled it, beaten it up, thrown it away. And now it's time to get it back and raise our consciousness back up. Raise it back up. And when we've done that, then there are more steps, because the journey never ends. I hope that helps.
Okay, where were we? Polly. So being aware of the chair I sit on and its love for me helps it feel less lonely too.
Helps the chair feel less lonely? Or you?
The chair.
The chair.
It's very likely the chair didn't feel lonely to begin with.
That's the nail on the head. We, the humans in this culture, have diminished ourselves, and we have lost so much of who and what we are. We just threw it away, but we could get it back. Everything else out there, the chair, the rocks, the dirt, the wind and air, the waters, the trees, the plants, all the animals, they never gave any of that up. They've always known it. They always known who they were and what they were, the purposes in this life, why they're here. They are connected deeply, deeply, and beautifully connected and sharing with everything around them and way beyond. They've always known it, they always have it. Some people find trees really easy to talk to, and that they will communicate back easily. And it's fairly easy to perceive this communication, to feel it. And for some people, rocks. That it's very easy to communicate with the rocks and perceive and to feel what they are communicating back to you and giving you. And so I recommend that. And try other things, try other plants, try water, try the wind. Everybody's different, everybody's sensitive to different things. But try it. But you have to be quiet. You have to try to stop all babble that we drag around with us in our mind from all the masks and the programming. It comes complete with a recorder that it's a recording that never stops. It just keeps going on and repeats. Babble, babble. So in learning about your song, you got to learn about stopping the babble, slowing it down. Let it ease off, turn the volume down, slow it down. See if you can't just let it go completely and have a quiet there so that you can perceive that tree. And you can perceive the rock or the water and the wind. You can perceive your own song. The battle drowns it out. That's why it's there. It drowns everything out, turns everything off. So working on stopping the babble, lessening the babble, quieting it down. It doesn't have to be there, it's only habit. It's there because we're habituated to it. So we gotta learn a new habit. Stop the babble, no babble, quiet. Habit of quiet. That helps.
And Polly. Oh, wait. Marcus. Oh, Max. Hi. My nephew from Vienna. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Helmut. I'd like to share an inspiration which I got today during a walk outside. Can I send you a private message so you can decide if it's suitable to share? Absolutely. Of course. And Polly, love to download it. I'm not sure if you're referring to the recording, but you will get, since you have registered for the series, you will get a link to the recording. And Polly, again, before I could swim, I was carried through the water. Delicious feeling. That's what hearing UK feels like today.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know what she's talking about. And Rebecca, I guess I better show up on Sunday. Yes.
We have Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, we have Saturday and Sunday. And the talk about the field of awareness is going to weave through, I think, the whole series, because it's one as, yeah. Mala, I hope I read that correctly. How do you retrieve that ability?
Step number 1, song ceremony. Step number one. And you have to want to do this. You have to want it. You have to choose it. And the deeper you go, the more delicious it gets. And what the Hetaka say about that is that it takes commitment. You have to be committed to doing this. So in the beginning, especially for people from our culture, committing can be a real challenge because we don't like to commit to too much of anything, and we always leave a back door. Like we tell our friend, yeah, I'll be over for dinner Friday night. Yeah, it'll be fun, it'll be great. Yeah, I'll be there 7 o'clock, no problem. Well, it comes around and suddenly you want to do something else, so you maybe you call and cancel, or maybe you don't. But it's something came up, can't come. You leave yourself a back door. There's always a back door. Any kind of commitment, teeny ones, little ones, casual ones, big important ones. You always seem to have some kind of back door. So for us, doing commitments a step at a time seems to be a lot easier for us. So the first thing to commit to would be do a song ceremony, see what happens. Or do several. And then maybe you make another commitment that's a little bit more ambitious, that you will keep doing song ceremonies and explore. Find out who you are and what you are, and explore that, experience what that is in the song ceremony. And the more you learn, the bigger it gets. The more there is to learn, the more delicious it gets. And the bigger that commitment ends up being. Until, if this is your thing, it's a lifelong thing. It's a commitment for life. If that's your thing, if that's what you choose. Remember, we have free will. This is a tradition about empowering self, empowering people, giving back your choice. You get to choose what you want in your life. And as you learn about your song, you get to choose what you want to think at any given moment. You don't have to have all that battling stuff going on in your head and all those rotten memory things going on, rattling all around in your mind, bringing up ugly emotions. You don't have to have that in your life. We have choice. We can choose to get rid of all of those things and let them go. And that's what this tradition is all about.
Okay, some more messages from Polly and Julia. Yum, yum. Yeah.
It is. It's yum, yum.
And Julia, the songs, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, this is spiritual goodie store, spiritual candy store.
And Julia, the song ceremony is deliciously beautiful. Yep. Marla is asking Julia, where do I find the song ceremony? I will share a link before we close out where you can download it.
All the instructions are there. It's complete. There's a description, there's instructions, there's the ceremony itself. You just put your headphones on and go for it.
And more thank yous. You're so welcome. Thank you for joining us. Mary, can plant medicine teachers be used to help us find our song?
plant medicine teachers. That could be several different things. I'll answer several different things. My first thought is that the kind of plant medicine teachers that you might be talking about would be psychoactive plants, hallucinogenics, ayahuasca, peyote, that kind of thing. And if you've had a teacher, a guide, during the use of those plants, and in an actual real ceremony, done in a real ceremonial way, engaging the spirits, asking for their help, and asking them to teach you, show you, give you experience about who and what you are, what your song is. It should. But without asking specifically, there is no guarantee that it's going to be teaching you about who and what you actually are. The other kind of plant medicine that it could be any plant. All plants have spirits, all plants have medicine. And any of them, if you go to them and ask and make an offering, you always bring a gift. If you want something from them, you should be bringing a gift. And lots of different spirits, plants like tobacco, they like pollen, they like cornmeal, they like water. They like a little piece of your breakfast or your dinner. Anything. Sometimes just a pinch of your hair as a gift, giving something of you to them as a gift. And ask them to teach you, to give you experience, to help guide you, maybe on a journey, or just in your daily actions with them. Maybe they're in your garden, or they're in a place that you go to on a walk. You can go to them and interact with them. Maybe meditate there. That you need to ask them for specific help with that. So, and those can be really, really powerful interactions. Plants, all plants, trees, and little weeds and bushes and grass and food plants, they're all incredibly powerful and intelligent. And we're connected to them, and we can communicate with them. We just have to slow down enough and try to stop that babble and communicate with them and ask for their help. Now, when we want to communicate, in our modern broken culture, our idea of communicating is to talk at. We learn how to talk at. And nobody bothers to teach you about talking with or stopping to listen to something that might be being communicated, coming your way. In spiritual traditions, in Katasi, it's all about talking with. It's a two-way conversation. When we're talking with spirits, we're talking with the field, we're talking with plants, animals, wind, water. It's a two-way conversation. And we say what we need to say, and we ask what we need to ask of them, and then we get quiet. We get as quiet as we can, and still, and stop all that babble. and listen, feel. You aren't necessarily going to hear it with your physical ears. And you may not see it with your physical eyes. You may not feel it with your physical skin. But when we get really, really quiet, if there's something coming our way, if there's communication coming to us, we will perceive it with our spirit senses. That's the eyes inside of us, the hearing inside ourselves, we often say inside our mind. That's not entirely accurate. But it's those spirit senses. Don't try to guess or assume. Don't take any expectations with you. Don't jump to any conclusions. Don't make any judgments about yourself, about them, or what you think they're saying, or they didn't say, or set all that stuff aside and try to perceive just what is exactly is being communicated to you. Just accurate and clear. And let yourself receive it. And you could have a ongoing back and forth communication. On and on, back and forth, back and forth. On that spiritual level, on that energetic level, we are communicating like that. It is ongoing. All kinds of communications about all kinds of things. Back and forth. That's what the connectedness is all about. And energy comes with it, life energy, healing energy, knowledge, love. Back and forth. Don't forget to give love as well. That's a big piece. I hope that helps.
I think I lost my place. Oh, here we are. Andrea, it's an honor to be with you. It's an honor to be with you both. I read The Reluctant Shaman when it first came out. I will always remember my experience within the first few pages. The wind came into my home and wrapped around me. I'll never forget that meeting. It will be an honor to do the song ceremony. I've waited a long time.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you for telling us that story. That is good.
Ellen, while smelling a lilac, I could feel its life, its giving of love, and I was intoxicated with its scent. Its life. Okay, I'm getting lost. With its scent, its life. Is that similar to feeling its song?
Yes. Yes, in what you felt. The song of the lilac is there in what you felt.
But you also touched your song in the process.
Yes.
That's why you connected that way.
Yes.
Annika, thank you again. I need to sleep now. It is 2 a.m. in Germany. Sleep well. Thanks for sticking with us.
Sleep well. Thank you for joining. That's a commitment.
And Ellen again, you're both so lovely. Thank you. And another thank you from Polly. I'm a little slow. Will the song ceremony, that's C, somebody by the name of C. I'm a little slow. Will the song ceremony be sent to us or available online? It will be available online. I think we're coming to the end here, and I will share the link where you can download it. Saskia, I'm still not sure I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but I think I am. It was coincidence that got me here, and I am so grateful for this signposts of the universe. I'm grateful we'll get links to the recordings for I will not be able to attend tomorrow. Grateful we'll get the song ceremony to do again and again and again. You're so right, Kay. Words are for two-dimensional, far two-dimensional to express anything that's multidimensional in the heart. Thank you for being you. And another thank you and wow. And Polly, a quick question popped in. Is it the same song ceremony as a recorded CD got a few years ago of yours? Yes, it is. There have been many variations since from different classes, but we're still sharing the original ceremony. All right, that is it. That brings us to the end of the questions. Really beautiful. Great questions and sharing. Thank you so much. And I need to find my place to close out here. So
thank you all. Thank you for those great questions. Really, really putting the nail on the head with those questions.
very nice. And thank you, Kay. Really, really beautiful.
It is always my pleasure. And it is my honor.
And of course, thanks all our spirit friends. So let's see, what do I need to cover here? Yeah, first you should receive an email with a link to the recording for today's session, probably by tomorrow. And then here are a couple of things we'd like to share with you before we end. First, we give you the gift of the song ceremony, as we talked about at length. Again, this ceremony is given to the people, the children of the Hetaka's tribe at a young age, and it is the ceremony that becomes the foundation for the spiritual journey through life. Would you say that's accurate, Kay?
That is accurate, yes.
Kay,
any excuse to do the song ceremony, they do. And it begins every event, every ceremony that they have.
I am going to post two links in the chat. One is the link where you can sign up to get the ceremony, and the other is the link where you don't need to sign up. So either if you already on our list and don't want to go through the sign up anymore, use the other link. And if you're not sure or you're not on our list yet, just use the link for the sign up so you receive updates from us. So here are the two links. I hope they come through. Yes, it looks like they coming through okay. There's another bunch of thank yous. Hey, Max, good night. He said, I see you today because it's already Saturday over there. Yeah, great. We see you. We see you tomorrow for us. Okay, back to the rest of what I have here. All right, I also want to mention that you can get both of Kay's books, The Reluctant Shaman and Sacred Link, on Amazon. Sacred Link you can even get in paperback and Kindle. And finally, if you have a burning desire to heal, to wake up and live awake, and to help make a difference in the world, we have also a class coming up that guides you much deeper into this knowledge and wisdom that Kay shared today and how to make it part of your daily life and live it. The class is called The Call of Your Song, and I am posting a link to that in the chat as well. And if you follow that link, you can learn more about the class and join it, register if you feel called to. Oh, there's also still a $200 discount that we are still offering for this class. It will automatically show up on your checkout when you register. And that is it for today. You should have the link for the class now. So, all right. Beautiful, beautiful session. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you, Kay.
Thank you.
And thank you all again for joining. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow for part 2, which is called Living from the Heart versus Living from Your Linear Mind and Masks. Remember, tomorrow's session starts at 1 p.m. our time, so that's a little easier on the European friends. All righty. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Love you.
Love you all.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Well, we have one little